This playable race for Starfinder is very weird, but it's what my Maple Finders wanted to see over on Patreon, so here we go. Although Quarloos can be very fierce combatants, they do not like to get into fights. While not naturally being aggressive, this doesn't mean that they can't fight. They are capable when it comes to that, but their whole military hierarchy is actually less based around other common military ranks, but it's more so based on their engineering customs. And their engineering customs are all designed around explosives. And because peace and diplomacy and positive vibes are the standard norm for this type of race, it's not very likely that you're going to run into warriors out in the depths of space, but it does happen. You are more likely to meet a Quarloo diplomat or an explorer rather than anything else. Quarloos have a giant crystal shell on their back. It is made out of lithic, and it does resonate with certain frequencies. Inside this shell is where you will find all of the Quarloo's important organs. All of the organs tend to float around a little bit in a plasma, and at the center of everything lies the Quarloo heart. And this system is their digestive system as well as their circulatory system. Now, their heart generates a very significant amount of heat. This is where most of the internal temperature controls come from. And the Quarloo operates just a little bit better in warmer climates, because if you get them too cold, then you start slowing down their circulatory system and they can actually move quite a bit slower. Now, this unique shell is not the only thing that the Quarloo is good for. They are known throughout the galaxy to have a musical language. When they speak, it is generally done in very melodic tones, and these tones are very pleasing to most who hear them. And it goes even just a little bit beyond pleasant to the ears. They have a natural soothing tendency. And this gets amplified quite a bit when you put Quarloos together and they start singing together. A choir of angels, or Quarloos. They don't look like angels at all. There are a few musical races when it comes to Starfinder, but this is the first one I've covered where their language is actually musical and tonal. The Patra are another species that love to sing, and they can do this very well, but their language is not based around music. Now, if a Shirin encounters a Quarloo, they generally find them quite pleasing because Shirin are very sensitive to the subtle sonic vibrations. To a Shirin, this makes them especially pleasing. So what is a Quarloo? They are quadrupedal, which means they have 4 legs, and they are a silicone-based creature. And they have an unusual amount of arms. They have 3 tentacle arms. They also have 3 eye stalks as well. Their home planet that they live on has a very thin atmosphere, and it is also very active geologically. Their home planet's name is Quarlosh. It is a rocky, stony place to live, it is hot, and inside their planet is where they can find a lot of minerals that they consume and eat. These guys eat rocks. Rocks would be a bit of a misnomer for what they eat. It's actually called gypsum. It's a type of quartz crystal. They call it grow. On Quarlosh, they will farm it and raise it. And a Quarloo is a dense little guy. They are only on average 4.5 feet tall, but they weigh around 350 pounds. This is about 159 kilograms for you metric users. Because Quarlosh is such a difficult place to live on, all the tectonic activity is constantly shifting and rearranging the planet. What this has done for the Quarlosh is it has really ingrained in them an acceptance of change. Nothing is permanent, especially on their planet. And if you lose something or someone, while they still grieve that loss, they typically tend to move on from that grief much faster than any other species. Quarloos tend to like social experiences or just fun experiences overall. They tend to not be very materialistic. From a raw materials perspective, their planet is actually extremely wealthy. The species as a whole hasn't harnessed the economic might that they could have, just it's not something that interests them. And they are constantly moving and shifting their settlements, because when a lava flow opens up and destroys your settlement, they will dig it out and try to recover what they can, but then they will go build that settlement somewhere else so that it is not affected by the next lava flow. Before we move into the stats, if you are enjoying today's video, then please let me know by hitting the like button, and if you want to get more videos like this from myself, then please hit subscribe with the bell notification. If you would like to participate in my video votes for my patrons, then please check out Patreon in the description below. Now, as I mentioned, this is a playable race, so if you want to have this in your next Starfinder game, here's what you need to know. Your ability score modifiers are going to be +2 Constitution, +2 Charisma, and a -2 to Dexterity. Now, because these are thick boys, and that's 2 Cs, they have 6 hit points. Corlus are considered medium-sized, but because of their appearance, they are considered monstrous humanoids. They are also quite slow. Their average land speed is 25 feet. As I mentioned, the Corlu enjoy being warm. The hotter the better. They have a endothermic reaction. Because of this, the Corlu get 5 fire resistance, which stacks with 1 other fire resistance. And because they are silicone and crystal, they also don't need to breathe. This also comes with a few other benefits. A Corlu gains +2 racial resistance to bleed, disease, and poison effects. However, they also cannot benefit from drugs or medicines. Remember I mentioned those 3 arms? They can use those arms to hold up to 3 arms worth of weapons, items, whatever, but you still can't take more than 1 standard action per turn. A Corlu is also stable, so they will have a +4 racial bonus against things like Bull Rush, Trip, Reposition, and they also come with standard 60 feet of low light vision and dark vision. If a Corlu takes cold damage, they will gain the effect of Fatigued. However, this does not come with the other exhaustion effect. One other creative ability that this particular species has is tunneling. You can use these big boys and girls to dig tunnels. If you're digging through dirt or soil, you can go about a rate of 5 feet per minute. If you're going through stone, however, you're going to go 1 foot per minute. A Corlu is also unflankable, so don't try to do it because it just won't work. For a couple of other interesting flavor facts on the Corlu, their average age of maturity starts around 22 years. Now, this is packed standard units, but they do have a pretty long lifespan. The average Corlu will live to be around 180, but the longest lived Corlus will be in the range of 210 years. Now, if you'd like to learn about another musical race, I touched on them earlier, you can click on the video on your screen for the Patra. Thank you to every single one of my patron supporters for your ongoing support for myself and the channel. My name's Nathaniel. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.